Alright, so we are here at the lodge, day 4, and today is the big stream game day, 5-5, no limit, uncapped, I believe. I think most people start in coming 3 to 5K usually. I'm excited. I had a late night last night playing this crazy game, was up 4K at peak, swung down, swung back up to peak, and ended up booking the L. Booked the L for like minus 1.5K, plus some C charges, and still some of the most fun I've ever had playing poker. So back here today, final day. Right now we're in the 1-3 match stack po. Let's get into it.
Happy birthday to you.
I was itching to get back to the tables and try to run my stack up once again. I wanted to get to the lodge early and play a little bit of 1-3 just to get my feet back under me. I arrived at the game in the mid-afternoon, around 3 o'clock, bought in for 1.1K and 60 in tip chips, and I started out with a banger of a hand. It's a literal first hand of the day. I look down at ace-4 of clubs, under the gun 8-handed, and I bump it up to $20. The immediately next to act player, who's in middle position, makes it 50. Kind of a peculiar size, but we're going to roll with it. The small blind, also noticing this tiny size, decides to cold call. The big blind folds, and it's up to me to decide what to do here. This hand could actually function as a 4-bet, but given it's the literal first hand, and we're facing a cold call for the 3-bet here, I decide to just call. The flop comes out 4 deuce with 1 club. Small blind checks, I check, and the 3-better, middle position, also checks. Kind of peculiar, once again, because this flop should massively favor the 3-better's range. He just checks back. The turn is the 6 of clubs, giving us a flush draw to go along with our pair, and small blind checks to us. I decide to bet 100 here, mostly for protection. I expect the middle position typically has ace-king, ace-queen, maybe a couple of slow plays, but for the most part, no. I bet 100, and middle position surprises me by bumping it up to 275. Small blind folds, as expected here, to this action, and now we have a weird decision. We do have a flush draw here, but even more than that, I don't really understand what middle position is repping. To check back this board with an overpair, even aces, is kind of dicey, and it's a board that favors him so much that he should, mind you, be c-betting a ton of hands. The fact that he doesn't either means he's super strong, or he checked back a hand with a tiny bit of showdown value, and now he just wants to wake up and take it down. I don't really think that he'll do this with any pocket pairs that are worse than aces for value, so I decide to call given that I have the flush draw, and I just don't really believe. Granted, I'm probably still a little bit tilted from yesterday, but with the price he's giving me, I just don't see how we can fold given we have a flush draw too. The river is the 5 of hearts, which makes the board even a little bit more complicated since I can have hands like pocket 3s here. I check, he finds a shove, and I just don't think people play overpairs like this much, if at all. The issue is, even if it's not likely I have a 3 in this spot, I think that one-liners on the board look pretty scary to people with overpairs, and even though it's Texas, yeah, I mean, Texans can get scared too, right? Can Texans get scared? I'm pretty sure they can. So when he jams, it just kind of feels like he's trying to buy the pot. So even though I missed the flush, I block pocket aces, don't think he would do this for value with something like 9s through kings, and I'm just not seeing many other hands he could do this with that are value. I call, and he has, I mean, let's just call it like it is, right? We all know 4s are hot, so what does he have? Pocket 4s. Stupid me. How did I not see that hand coming? I rage a little bit on the inside, a super tiny bit on the outside, and rebuy for $1,500. Just one more reminder here, guys, that I will be hosting a live poker meetup game at the Sahara Poker Room in Las Vegas, Nevada, September 28th at 6 p.m. Let's play poker. In this next hand, we're playing 1, 3, 6, 15, and yeah, I admit it, I'm the double straddle. The button opens to 60 off of a $200 stack, and with King 10 of hearts here, playing a stack that is effectively less than 15 blinds, when you consider that 15 is the new effective big blind, I don't think I'm really going anywhere here. The question is, do I call or shove? There's really no other options. I decided to shove, and the board rolls out King Jack 9 with 1 heart, 8 of hearts, 7 of hearts. So the board just gets better and better for us here. We make top pair, we make a straight, we make a flush, and he shows pocket 10. So he was actually a little stronger than I initially expected, but hey, we're glad to win one. 1.8K in the stack now. We're playing a $15 bomb pot, 8-handed. The boards roll out Jack Jack 4 and King 8 3. Early position bets 75. Middle position calls, and I look down in the cutoff at pocket 4s. Wow, flopping a boat on one board in a bomb pot is a little bit weird because while this hand is super strong on a single board and can get action from any jack-X, it's just not that great of a spot for us because unless somebody specifically just has a jack, no pair with it on the other board, it's pretty hard for us to win the whole pot here, ever. Now, we may be able to take it down just with aggression. Maybe somebody has a weak hand on the other board and we actually get to fold them off a chop. So I'm definitely not just calling here. I make it 200. Only early position calls, so we go heads up to turns of the 3 of hearts and 9 of spades. He now leads for 300, which, while this is super awkward and seems to suggest that he pretty much always has something that will chop with us, it's pretty easy to get it in with this exact hand. We're only really afraid of Jack 4 specifically, Jack 3 specifically, and neither of those can beat us on the second board, and yeah, that's about all we're worried about. So I jam for his roughly 700 effective, and he snaps as expected. The rivers roll out the 6 of clubs and ace of hearts, still really nothing to fear here, and I'm now starting to pray that maybe he has something like queen jack that he's maybe marginally overplaying. However, he has king 8, so he did in fact have the other board, and we just chop it up. Kind of a actually rare time that we're guaranteed to chop by the turn. You notice that neither of us could actually outdraw the other, really. I guess technically I was drawing to 1 out on one board, but that's literally it. I guess you could say I was free rolling. 1.7k in the stack now. 1, 3, 6. Middle position opens to 25. I'm in the big blind with Jack 8 of clubs, and I make the call. The straddle also calls, so we go 3 ways to Jack, Jack 9 rainbow. I check, straddle checks, and middle position decides to just check it back. So we go 3 ways to the queen of hearts on the turn, and at this point, I don't want to let anybody see a free card. There are 3 cards to a straight on the board, and even though we block them, there's some pretty bad action-killing cards that can come, even if we still have the best hand. Additionally, a queen is definitely putting more action in, so I go ahead and bet $60. The straddler, who didn't want to post with 6 hands to go, makes it $120. Now, I say that he didn't want to post with 6 hands to go because this is just textbook nit. Someone who doesn't really want to post the blinds and is willing to wait literally 6 hands in an 8-handed game is just obsessed with nickel and diming this game. When he makes it 120 with $300 in his stack, I literally think we beat nothing. I don't think he has a queen. I think he has a jack, and usually better. This is a straight or a boat a ton. Pocket 9s are in range, Jack 9 is in range, Queen Jack is in range, Ace Jack, King Jack is in range, and I don't even know if he would do this with trips. I just fold. I see no way of winning this hand, and I just fold. We go on to lose a cold 4-bet pot, kings into aces, and then jacks into aces. I don't believe I have footage for this, so I'm sorry, but you'll just have to trust me. We get into this game for 2.6k in cash and $60 in tip chips, which, believe you me, we didn't have to use many of. Cash out for $1,700 plus a little bit in tip chips and maybe like 89 bucks in my pocket that I had to pull out when I was topping up to some weird number. However, even though this loss wasn't that bad, it's never good to book one right before you head into a stream game, but I decided it was time to go and get my head on straight. I decided to buy into the stream game for $3k and the 45 in tip chips I still had with me. Let's jump into that footage now.